Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. It's my opponent to go first. But I have got the blank. I've got a great rack. Greatish. I feel there are several bingos here. I've got booners with the blank as a B. And probably others. I'm going to start looking through the alphabet to see what comes to mind. So that's booners, and it may have an anagram. Not totally sure. I think it's Cahoons with an OU, not an OO. The hood suffix. Darhoons, possibly. Not sure on that. So just booners for sure so far. I could be missing some. Great, booners certainly goes because drones is good. I'm just going to finish this exercise. And then I'll look for some 8s. Okay, so the only 7 I've seen is booners, which doesn't even get doubled. So do I have something through the D or the R, which gets doubled, or through the E, which might get tripled? So I've got house as an ending with the blank as a U. I don't think the E looks particularly hopeful. What about the D? I've got hand and sand, hood. Manhoods, yeah, that's certainly better than the booners play, I think, and I don't think there's going to be an awful lot better on offer, so I'm going to go with this. 72. I draw the J, which is good. Not so good with the rest of the rack. I do at least have one vowel. I've managed to place 2 vowels next to premium squares, which ordinarily would be good with scoring tiles. However, with only 1 vowel, I may not be able to make much use of them. It's important to play off consonants to try and address the vowel consonant balance. Wow, 62 points for my opponent. Pretty good. Takes a U in front, but Zar doesn't take anything, so that's not particularly useful for me. So I've got jouk through the O. That's pretty good. Goodish, rather. Now, what about droned? I could play Judd and droned. 20 points. 25 for jouk. Or I could play drouk to get rid of 1 more tile. And score 1 fewer points, but it's keeping the J. I was going to say playing junk across the top of drone. But I don't have the M. The N, rather. I could play Judd. Let me see what that scores. £27 points, which is quite good. But I think I'd rather have the D on my rack than the K. I could play, I was going to say thunk. I think I'm going to go with jouk. It's not great having this rack leave is not great. However, if I draw 2 vowels, it'll be pretty good. So jouk for 25. I only draw 1 vowel, and I draw the Q, which is bad. However, I have drawn the second blank, So what I'd like to do is, as quickly as possible, get to a bingo situation. Now, how to jettison the cue? Well, I could use the blank as a U and play talked, but that's not going to score enough. It may be worth changing if there's nowhere for the cue. I guess it depends how much I can score elsewhere. Z, parallel to manhoods, has not really opened up many opportunities for parallel plays. EH only takes an S after it. Jouk takes an S after it for future reference. There's nowhere fantastic for my H. So at the moment, I'm thinking of changing. If an A's available, I could have cat. If I change this board is quite good for a bingo with the E available. Now through a P, I would have cough, QOPH. 32 points for my opponent. He's now 10 points ahead. I am going to change. I can't see a way of getting rid of the Q. So click change, get rid of the Q, get rid of the H and the D and the O. Just RT blank. Horrendous. That is bad. That is really bad. And I think I will change again. That is just atrocious. And it wouldn't have been much better if I'd retained the O. Yep, I can't see any point in keeping this rack. I'm 13 points behind. If my opponent doesn't bingo and I change, then my bingo should draw me level-ish with him. Z takes an S after it. But these O's not really useful for me. This A not useful, since I can only really play a couple of consonants after it. And if I use the E, then I'm burning up the best spot on the board for bingos. So that's why I think changing is best. Always a tough decision to take, changing, given you score no points, and to do so on 2 successive moves is particularly painful. I have on occasion changed on 3 successive moves. Now my opponent taking a while with his move. Have I overlooked anywhere to play on this board? Not even really any scoring tiles on my rack. Just about the P with 3 points. Pay is good. I don't have any non-vowel words on my rack like GRR or GRRL. So 14 minutes on my opponent's clock. If he bingos now, I'll be in a difficult spot because I'll be a long way behind. He hasn't. He's only scored 20 points. And he hasn't provided anywhere great, so I am going to change. And I'm going to change everything I picked up. And draw properly this time. Much better, much better. I've got aggro tap through the E of drone. I've got garrot. with double R, ending with that E. So I should be bingoing this turn. However, most of the bingos are likely to revolve around this E, so if my opponent blocks it, I may not be able to bingo. I don't think I have anything through the X. Can't see anything beginning with the K. Great, opponent has not blocked garrote. Time to get back into this game. So garrote for 77. I wonder if there was a play which got the G doubled. I don't think it's worth spending time looking for that. I'll just play this bingo and draw well. Fantastic, I have Aliener. Not sure it goes anywhere at the moment. Quite a few floaters to consider. Bingo for my opponent, scoring more than mine, so he's a bingo ahead. But can I come straight back? I can because of Careline. Careline in column 11. Do I have a bingo in column 15 beginning with the S? Nothing's come to mind. Well, it's going to be an anagram of alieners. And I can't think of any. Careline does at least get doubled. No double lanes to consider. It does place the I next to this triple letter square, so Carelines does offer my opponent chi and chi. Not great. Anagrams of Careline, just reliance, I think. I think I'm going to go with Careline. Unless there's a bingo beginning with S, this is going to score the most. And maybe I will draw QI. Careline for 70. I don't, but I've drawn a pretty good rack. I've got into web through an E. No E's available at the moment. However, my opponent may be tempted to play across row H and provide an E. That would be pretty good. I can't see any other bingos with this rack. B and W don't go great together. However, I can play off web in row D, playing just the W and B, and then Inter is a pretty strong rack leave. The drone hook's still available. Column 1, hot-ish for a 4-letter plays beginning with the F. Can't see anything using the B or the W. Okay, well, my web spot remains available. No E provided. Web doesn't score very much. 16 points, but the rack leave is the best. So I think I will go with this. The S at the end of Grechizes goes well with this rack. So web for 16. 2 V's. How irksome. So Vav through an A. I don't really want to get into the habit of just playing off a couple of tiles for a crappy score, hoping for a bingo. Although the rack leave of EINRT is pretty strong. It's not just a medium rack leave, it's a good one. I don't have anywhere at the moment for just dropping the 2 V's. It may be worth just changing them. Quite a few I's to come, so if I change, I could pick up an I and have a non-bingo-y rack with just a whole bunch of one-pointers, which is pretty undesirable. Probably better if I can keep scoring, especially as I'm close to my opponent. If I can keep scoring, then I won't need to rely on a bingo. Only 2 E's to come, so I would like to hang on to the one that I've got. However, I've just noticed that I can play 5 for 30 points, which is quite good, which burns the E. I can play Rev, which also burns the E. So it's certainly 5 better than changing. Wow, that burns both vowels, keeping NRTV. That is just asking for trouble. Let me check the vowel situation. 15 out of 32. Okay, so quite a few vowels left. The vowels on the board, not well placed for playing through. What about changing? The trouble with changing is there are now not many bingo lanes on this board. So I could change, draw a bingo, and have nowhere to play it. So 5 has got to be better than that. Is anything better than 5? Don't think so. How many S's and blanks left? None. Okay, so the web hook is non-existent. Nadir only takes an S, so that bingo lane is gone. Meow only takes an S, so there's the floating U for a bingo lane and the E that I provided. 5 for 30 points. Wow, fantastic. Well, only fantastic in that I pick up vowels, so I'm not struggling with a 7 consonant rack. Not so great in terms of having a bingo, but as I mentioned, this board isn't really bingo friendly anymore. I'm 15 points behind. I've got the V as a scoring tile. Not sure there are many big scoring spots on this board for the V. Ah, wow, my graviton. Yes, thank you. Thank you, world. Graviton. Hilarious. 89 points. Fantastic. The beautiful game. And I draw QI, and I've got a 49-point lead. Superb. QI plays beside graviton for not very much, but it does get rid of the Q. I've also got the U of meow to play through, so I could play quip. 12 tiles left. That is so good. Okay. What else is there? Through an A, I would have caddy. I don't have to dump the Q, especially as the I is quite valuable as a vowel. Now, HMM is good. Can't really use that. I have hi-fi, HY, PHY through an H, which is not available. My H can go in front of EH, so I could play hip and hey. Not much of a score. Really not many scoring spots on this board. I've got hip alongside meow. That is taking out the U, which is a Q spot, but it's a pretty ropey Q spot in that anything I score will be face value. Still 2 U's to come. This board is not bingo friendly, although there are bingo lanes in column 9 and column 14 and row O beginning with E, and the remaining tiles have some bingoiness in them. Not too many high scoring tiles. So if my opponent bingos, he'll be in a strong position. If he doesn't, I have the upper hand. There go the U's that I was looking forward to having available for my Q. Now if I play hip, 29 points, which is good, but I'm taking out my Q spot and I'm providing an easy scoring spot because hip takes an E and an O after it. So I don't think hip can be optimal. Scores, I am 20 points behind, so I would like to keep scoring. Now, Hun is good. 8 tiles left. Mind you, any play making Hun is also going to kill off this Q spot. I'm thinking about playing Quip just to get rid of the Q. 15 points, probably best. Because retaining the Q is going to be worth minus, I don't know, 10 or 11 points. So I'm looking for a 25 or 26 point play, which keeps the Q just to have an equivalent play. And I haven't really seen anything better than that, and this isn't massively dangerous, except Quip does take an E in front for a 6-letter play beginning with E. I think I can survive that. Let's see. Okay, pretty good. I've drawn 2 vowels. Just looking at the remaining tiles, my opponent could have Ealing. 40 points, that would give him 392, that would draw him level. Not great, but he would then empty the bag. I've got a balance track with scoring tiles, so provided my opponent doesn't pull out something amazing or a couple of amazing moves, I'm certainly am in a strong position. I haven't seen anywhere great right away for any of my tiles. I guess I've got the HEH spot for plays coming down here, maybe beginning HY, although I haven't seen anything. I've got thigh, THY. That's pretty good, although 10 does take an E in front. What else is available? 7 minutes on my opponent's clock, 10 minutes on mine. 5 tiles in the bag. Nothing I can do about this E hook for equip, but if my opponent plays down here, there are going to be floaters. I should be able to score 20 or 30 with this rack. Pi takes nothing in front, so nothing on offer from Poodoo. So not many scoring spots on this board. Garot takes a D. That's not much good. Lex takes a few things in front, but FE doesn't, so that's not available. The only bingo lane, I think, is beginning with E. So elbowing for my opponent. Pretty nice. Yeah, if he plays that, I think he probably wins. But he'll be placing the I underneath this triple letter square, so I would have Hoa. 6 minutes on my opponent's clock. Close to high datoid. Close-ish. 1 tile away and 1 floater away. £10 points for my opponent. Well, elbowing no longer available. He's burnt the O. Pole takes a Y. Fantastic. I might as well take advantage of that. I thought I had Atho did. And I would have if my Y was, one of my Ys was a D. Now, Polo is also good, so I've got a choice here. 3 tiles in the bag. I don't think my opponent's got anything else. If I play in row M, then I create a new bingo lane. And my opponent wins. I think the priority is just scoring, and there is in any event a bingo lane in row M right now. So what's the most I can score? Well, it would be nice to place the Y under pole. So I could play yay. And that's pretty good because then I'm not opening up a new bingo lane in row N because Polly doesn't take any of these tiles after it. 27 points is a good score. I'm retaining a vowel. I am emptying the bag. Should I retain the Y? Eight minutes on my clock. So I'm 32 points ahead. This puts me 60 points ahead. I think I win if my opponent doesn't bingo. I'm going with this. So what's my opponent got? ignitable through it. Nothing beginning with E. I don't think. Close to eligible, but he hasn't got it. I don't think he's got anything massive hooking quip. And I have got a really balanced rack. I've got Towhead, which is a bingo. Five minutes on my opponent's clock. Now I have an E for going in front of equip. Just checking to see if I've got anything which goes after Polly. I don't. Yay only takes an S after it. Nowhere for Towhead. I've got a Weeto as a nice 6. Nowhere for that. Now, my H can still go in front of EH, and my W can go in front of N. So I could play what down here for an okay score. Just wondering if I had a THW word, but I don't think I do. So, is this my game? I think it is. I'm 60 points ahead. If my opponent doesn't bingo, he doesn't. He plays bingo for 14. Fantastic. That's almost like scoring nothing. Now, he's only got LI left. So he's got Lien and nil. He's definitely going out. So I have one go to make hay. What can I do? Now Y takes an A after it and an E. EA takes only a T, so the best I can do there is toe. 7 minutes left. 23 points. Up here, 27 points. Is there a longer play? What O, perhaps? Not sure about that. It just feels like there ought to be one which is slightly longer. Wheat. Yes, wheat is longer, isn't it? So wheat for 28. Is there a way of playing off a D in this spot? Well, there is. I could play Thord. Let me check that score. So this is 28 with -6 on count back. So this is worth 22. 6 minutes on my clock. Worth 22. Keep that in mind. Thord, 27 less 2 is worth 25. This is 2 points better. This provides nothing for my opponent because he can't go out using that. So this is hopeless for him. I'm going with this. So 6 minutes on my clock, 3 on my opponent's. I'm a lot ahead, and he goes out. So pass to end the game. Final score, 385 to my opponent, 448 to me, a winning margin of 63 points. Pretty exciting game. Let's see what I missed. So, my opponent to go fast, he didn't have a bingo, although it looks a pretty good rack. He plays drone. Shagroon, fantastic. Double through the R. Then manhood's my play, but Shagroon certainly better. And look at that, Dahoons was good. Missed harpoons. Okay, and that was it. Manhoods, but that was great for my opponent because he's got MZ for 62. And at this point, I'm 6 points behind, but I've got a grim rack. Oh dear, I didn't play it there. G3, look at that, through the O, jouk, 31 points. Instead, I played it for 25. That's actually not too bad. I lost 6 points, so no massive biggie. It's suboptimal. I should have seen it, but it's not like a 30-point difference horror show. Opponent plays flats. Now, this is where I change. Yeah, and I still just about like changing. Although 22, the Q's worth about minus 13. I prefer changing. And fourth is just providing scoring spots for my opponents. So I think changing is best. Opponent's rack, he plays Lex. I have a horrendous rack. And look at these scores. And rack leaves. Changing is fine. Opponent's rack, no bingo, although it looks pretty good. He plays feet. And I have garrote, frottage in the same spot for the same score. And tutorage as well. Nice rack for my opponent. He's got Grecizes, good spot by him. And I have Caroline. The anagram I didn't see was Cinereal and also Tree Nail playable for a lot less. So Caroline and Cinereal. Cinereal would have been slightly better because the I is a more dangerous tile to put next to a triple letter square when you've still got the Q at large. Opponent plays Meow. Frib, keeping the W. Not so good. I play Web, and I could have played Noob in the same spot. No, different spot, but I like Web. I like the inter rack leave. I think it's strong. Opponent's rack. No bingo. He plays Nadir. And that's quite a good play. He's shutting out floaters, including the dangerous S, and he's 45 points in the lead, so quite a good play by him. I draw the two Vs, and I'm not in good shape. I'm 45 points behind on a closed board, or a closing board, and I'm about to burn both of my vowels and retain a V. So I play 5 for 30. I am opening a bingo lane, but bingo's beginning with E, not a huge number of those. So although E is great in open play, it's not so hot at the start of the word. And not a great rack for my opponent. And look what he does. Superb. He plays Cag, and that is mana from heaven. I have Graviton, and that changes the game. Bang. And look at the other moves. Nothing even above 20 until you get down to retaining the V. So a stroke of great fortune for me there. Opponent plays Poodoo, and at this point I'm 20 points ahead. I don't have a great rack, and I think about playing Hip in various spots and then eventually go with Quip, which kills bingo lanes and dumps the queue. No bingo for my opponent. He plays Pole, and at this stage he's trying to open a bingo lane. Or trying to open a bingo lane and bingo. He does the first, but not the latter. Yod, I thought about that, but it places the H under this double letter square with a W to come, or W unseen rather. So I prefer Y. Y doesn't provide very much for my opponent. This is his rack. What does he have? Nothing great. He plays Bingle. Hee-haw. Wow, where's that? Ah, running through EH. Very nice for 30. Instead I play Thord for 27. 30 minus 8. Yeah, Thord actually a better play, so I think Thord is best there. And opponent goes out for 7 points. So a pretty exciting game. Some interesting racks to deal with. Some quite difficult racks to deal with, and in the end the game really determined by a massive stroke of luck in my opponent providing a floating G for bingos beginning with G when I had an otherwise ropey rack, but one which did make a bingo beginning with G. So pretty exciting stuff. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.